How to be a gentleman. I feel like I should have the Groucho Marx glasses with the big plush mustache and the top hat as well. This is from the 1880s. I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to do this specific article on this channel or on the main channel, but I think I can kind of skirt the lines a little bit. Not quite use all the salty language that I normally would up on the top channel, but you know what, hey, I can get my point across here because, come on, gentlemen, we're all trying to be a little bit more regal in our day-to-day events now, aren't we? Let's see if we can glean any information, because you got all those trad cons that are out there who just want to, oh man, we just need to bring it all back to the 1950s. No. Yeah, just follow Don here. We're going back to the 1880s, back when things were fun. A gentleman's instruction manual from the 1880s explains how to have manners and general rules of conduct. Yes, just don't mind the fact that the modern day woman is a bit of a hussy. Or that Instagram, you know, the thing with the scantily clad pictures on the internet. Yes, she gets all the attention that she needs. Heaven forbid a gentleman might show up and flip her perception of the world on its head. We will not be having any of that anymore. Yeah, there's going to be some things we can probably take away from this article, but then a bunch of it'll just be outdated because, of course, it's, you know what, hey, this article, okay, or this idea set came out back when Joe Biden was simply in grade school. In society, everybody should receive equal attention. No. I already disagree, and we're only a couple of words into this one. Okay, exceptional individuals are going to receive more attention than unexceptional individuals. Okay, none of this commie attention giving. Okay, so you're on mourning right now. The young as well as the old. No, again, vehemently disagree. A high authority says if we wish our young people to grow up self-possessed and at ease, we must early train them in the graces by giving them the same attention and consideration we do in their mature years. No, that's some map ideology right there. If we snub them and systematically neglect them, they will acquire an awkwardness and a deprecatory manner. That makes sense. Okay. Which will be very difficult for them to overcome. Of course. But again, thinking that all attention is the same attention? No. Nope. Gracefulness of carriage. Physical education is indispensable. Oh, yeah. Make muscles? Imagine that. That's the first one on the MMGF graph. Okay. Make muscles. Make money. Learn game. Hold frame. Imagine that. Make muscles. Gracefulness of carriage. Of course. So be an attractive man and woman. I agree. Moving right along. Attitude. Ooh, awkwardness of attitude is the mulk of vulgarity. What the do you mean by that? Lolling, gesticulating, fidgeting, handing an eyeglass, a watch chain, or the like gives an air of gaucherie. A lady who sits cross-legged or sideways on a chair, who stretches out her feet, but dare not see her ankles, better make sure that that dress is long enough. Who has a habit of holding her chin or twirling her ribbons or fingers, fingers or buttons? A man who lounges in his chair, nurses his legs, bites his nails or caresses his foot crossed over his knee, shows clearly a want to go of good home training. Yeah, that's weird. Coughing and sneezing. Okay, coughing, sneezing, clearing the throat, if done at all, must be done as quickly as possible. Yeah, it's also like at the same time, if you get like a bag of chips or something, some sort of confectionery or a little snack that's out there, it's just easier to just get it done with, okay? Stop fiddling with the bag, stupid, especially if you're at a movie theater or something like that and somebody's trying to open up their bag of gobstoppers and you know, that old hack gag, but seriously, just get it over and done with, okay? Well, we won't mind as long as you just stop making such a racket, okay? So kind of understand that one. Anecdotes, puns, and reparts. Oh yes, anecdotes should be seldom brought into conversation. Boy, that's basically the crux of every conversation right now. You can go all the way up to the president right now. Back when I was young and horses used to be in front of the carriage. But no, using anecdotes, using the exceptions to try to disprove the rule. Yeah, we're seeing that a lot more commonly than we had back in the past. So I appreciate that one. Puns are always regarded as vulgar. What do you know? I'll show you vulgar. Anyways, repartee should be indulged in with moderation and never kept up, as it denigrates the vulgarity of an altercation. So you shouldn't be going around making yourself known by too many people. I understand. Keep a low profile. I do appreciate that. A sweet and pure breath. Yeah, some of you people are gross. Brush your teeth or use some mouthwash. Your teeth is funny. Smoking. Don't. Suppression of emotion. Okay, you better be on the right side of this one. This was 1880s after all. No man showed emotion. They were purely stoic. Please be the example you're going to use. Suppression of undue emotion, whether laughter, anger, or mortification of disappointment, or of selfishness in any form, is a mark of good breeding. Yeah, I appreciate that. A good listener. Yes, exactly. When you're engaging in conversation with somebody, the easiest way to avoid the unnecessary nature of small talk, okay, is just, compliment somebody on something that they're obviously very proud of. Necklace, a cardigan, shoes, or anything like that. It sounds a little bit hack, but it's a good icebreaker, okay? Instead of saying, well, geez, sure is nice out today. Not a lot of clouds in the sky. Never ask closed questions. Example, anything that can be answered with a yes or no nature. Oh, what do you think of lights? I know it's just kind of a boring ass question, okay? You're at a dinner or something and the candle's on. It's like, what do you prefer, candlelight or incandescent bulbs? Imagine having this conversation there, but just follow with me for a second. It's just purely an analogy, okay? You don't really open up anything for conversation there. It's like candles. Oh, why? Instead of saying, boy, this type of lighting is a little bit more romantic, a little bit something that you're not exactly accustomed to, Sure was a simpler time whenever you would have just, candlelight. Sure is it's an awfully unique situation. What's your opinion on this? Just saying. And then you open it up for conversation. You just keep asking probing questions and things develop from there. You listen for something to build a conversation on instead of listening for an opportunity to interject what you're thinking about. That's good conversation skill. A lot of people today are just listening for their time to just interject, okay? They're not listening to engage. They're listening to talk. Or most people today, your modern individual is just going to be talking regardless or not if you're done with your sentence. Give precedent to others. Hey, there we go. Give precedent to those older or of higher social position than yourself. Listen to somebody as if you have the opportunity to learn something from them, because they might not seem like much, but they could have little pearls of wisdom that are out there, okay? You don't know everything, but you have the opportunity to learn anything. Be moderate. Yes, of course. Always express your opinions with modesty, and if called upon, defend them without the warmth which may lead to hard feelings. Do not enter into an argument, having spoken your mind, and thus shown that you are not cowardly in your beliefs and opinions. Drop the subject and lead to some other topic. There is seldom any profit in idle discussion. Yeah, no, exactly. Mundane, day-to-day small talk conversation is useless. It's an opportunity to try to delve into a more deep or engaging topic, and if you can't find that disengage. Stop wasting everybody's time. Singing and playing in society. Don't, because guess where that's got us now? A twerking She-Hulk. Ugh. A lady in company should never exhibit any anxiety to sing or play, but being requested to do so if she intends to comply. Oh, this is 1880. She better comply. She should do so at once without waiting to be urged. I like this guy's style. If she refuses, she should do so in a manner that shall make her decision final. Having complied, she should not monopolize the evening with her performances, but make room for others, receiving and making presents. Okay, interesting. Tokens of our love are the most important abrabuses. Cold and lifeless because they do not represent our love or our life. The only gift is the portion of thyself. Therefore let the farmer give his corn, the miner his gem, the sailor coral or shells, the painter's picture, and the poet his poem. To persons of refined nature, wherever the friend creates, takes added value as a part of themselves, part of their lives, as it were, having gone into it. People of the highest rank abroad will often accept with gratitude a bit of embroidery done by a friend, a poem inscribed by them to the author, a painting executed by some artists. Who would not care for the most expensive bauble that was offered them? Yeah, that's nice. A present should be acknowledged without any delay. Yeah, I agree. unmarried ladies should not accept presents from gentlemen who are neither related nor engaged to them. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Don't be taking, advances from, just random dudes, okay? Don't be tricking off on guys, or don't accept any tricks off of that. And then also don't be finessing dudes out here. Show that you're a woman of a certain repute, nor indebted to them for some marked favors. Yeah, this just kind of cut off simp culture right from the get-go, okay? Don't be accepting any gifts from a guy that you have zero intentions of engaging. That would be incredibly useful. Governing our moods. Okay, we should subdue our gloomy moods when we enter society. Yeah, I wish this was adhered to. That would certainly be much more pleasant, because now, instead of dealing with your own negative personality traits, okay, they're just blasted on social media, or one of the first things that says, well, I'm on these pills in order to make me happy because I've been diagnosed with depression. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's a sad story, but keep telling it to yourself. To look pleasantly and speak kindly is a duty we owe to others. Exactly. Nobody cares about your struggles, especially that's men. Okay. And women don't care about men's struggles. They wait at the finish line and the winners. A lady who shows by act or expression in plain, curt words that is a visit of another is unwelcome, may perhaps pride herself upon not being a hypocrite. Ooh, exactly. Don't be a 304 out here. But she is, in reality, worse. She is grossly selfish. Courtesy requires her, for a long time, to forget her own feelings and remember those of her visitor. Interesting. Getting imprinted, as it were. And thus it is her duty to make the visitor happy while she remains. A lady driving with a gentleman. Where are you going here? When a lady offers to drive a gentleman to her fation, whatever. What, letting a woman drive? What are you doing? He should walk her to her house if she accepts the invitation, unless the distance is great. She should propose to call for him. Oh, yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. And again, that's not being the simp right there, okay? A man should be taking control of every aspect of the date. Paying for the bill, making sure the transportation is taken care of, setting the reservation or knowing where you're going for the date, okay? Don't be taking any recommendations, because that's also a low-level punk test right there, okay? Even if she says, oh, I know this great place that we can go. Even if it was the place that you were intending on going, like, I know this great sushi place. It doesn't much matter. We're going to go here for a steak, okay? Even if you really wanted to go to a sushi place, you're going over there because you set the boundaries. It's your frame as a man. I don't totally disagree with this advice. In the case, he will be on the watch and be able to keep her waiting and, if possible, meet her on the way. Exactly, because the date, the circumstance, the situation is on your time, guys. An invitation cannot be recalled. Oh yeah, if she flakes on you, it's a history lesson. Either that, or this is when the one situation, okay, if a woman paying for something, this is where you can revoke it for a minute, okay? If a woman flakes on a date and she wants to set up for something like that in the future, normally I would just kick her to the curb, okay? But if the situation arises and you're just really keen and things just can't quite match up, and she has at least what you would perceive as a legitimate excuse, because women flaking on dates, and that's another video for another time. But if you do manage to set something up in the future, guess what? She's buying the first round of drinks, she's buying the appetizers, okay? And especially if you can think of her as a prospect in any form or fashion, she gets put on the short list of the ejaculate and evacuate category. Avoid talking of personalities, okay? Avoid speaking of your birth, your travels, and all other personal matters to those who may understand you, and consider it boasting. Oh, okay, yeah, don't be too braggadocious to begin with. This is also, okay, just another little underpinning and a different way of expressing. Don't be too forward with all of your amazing accomplishments, okay? Like if you pick a woman up, obviously she's going to see your vehicle, okay? But if you guys meet at a place, because that's also one of those safety concerns or something like that, you can allude to the fact that you drive a nice vehicle or something. But if it's the first thing that you say, oh, it's great to see you, great to meet you, give her the handshake, the peck on the cheek, whatever you're going to do, whatever the move is, okay? And then you say, oh yeah, see that's my vehicle out there. I drive the Lamborghini that's right out there. That's not going to be cool at all, okay? If you're wearing a chain or something and that you're making sure that it's over the top of the shirt that you're wearing, that's going to be a little ridiculous, okay? Or just flexing and then just trying to show off what card you're using to pay for things. A little mystery goes a long way, okay? You want to sell her a dream. You don't want to sell her reality. That might seem like manipulation. That might seem a little bit skeezy, but women don't want the truth. Let's just keep it 100. They want They're sold on a lifestyle. About persons' names. Yeah, bringing up other people, that's superfluous. That's stupid. Okay. Oh, I know this person. We can get into this one place. Oh, guess what? If you know somebody who has the influence to get into the other place, why is she messing around with the middle guy? Why isn't she just going to the big boss? Shun gossip and tale-bearing. No, exactly. Punish that behavior. Okay, if somebody's going to start yipping off on a third-party friend, okay, if you guys met in a social setting situation and she wants to start yapping about that, don't engage that situation. Make a mental note of that, and then you can immediately put her into a different category. Removing the hat. Oh, yes, exactly. I wouldn't recommend wearing a hat in today's day and age. Not quite my style. I used to wear fitted caps all the time. Okay, I had a whole host of different teams that were out there. But then I turned 20 years old and I stopped doing that. But again, if you are wearing a hat, it comes off, okay, this has been a long-standing tradition that I've carried off to my places that I've lived as well as at my family's place, because this was instilled from a very, very, very young age, okay, unless it's one of those intermittent things where you just come in, you have to use the restroom, okay, if you're working outside and you're wearing a ball cap or something like that, you come into the house, you remove your shoes, you remove your hat, and it does not come on, okay, unless you're outside, unless you're outdoors. Didn't understand it growing up. No other places. Maybe a couple of other friends' houses when I was growing up, they adhered to that rule as well, but it was all willy-nilly. But a lot of those places, now that I look back at it retrospectively, those were also single mother places. And again, we talk about that enough in and of itself, but it's a sign of respect. And especially, even if you're outside, okay, it's a picnic setting, take off that hat when you go to eat. A gentleman never sits in a house with his hat on in the presence of ladies. Yeah, exactly. Indeed, a gentleman instinctively removes his hat as soon as he enters a room. There you go, a habitual resort of ladies. A habitual resort of ladies. A gentleman never retains his hat in a theater or other places of public entertainment. I totally agree with that. That's why I just go ahead and forego that tradition. But back in the 1880s, maybe everybody wore hats. That seems to make sense. Treatment of inferiors. That's another big turnoff. If you listen to what women, if they give you any unconventional turnoffs other than, I smell bad. And it's like, scent is very important. Okay, so, you know, old Drakkar Noir might have worked back in grade school, but now you got to step up your game. But if you're rude to the wait staff, okay, if you're just a generally miserable human being, okay, that's going to be a big turnoff. The way that you treat one person is indicative of the way that you treat everybody. Hopefully that's what they say here. Never affect superiority. Thank God that's maintained throughout the years. In the company of an inferior, let him feel his never let him feel his inferiority. I thought this was going to take a hard turn. If you invite an inferior as your guest, treat him with all the politeness and consideration you show an equal. Exactly. Totally agree. 1000%. Intruding on privacy. Never enter a private room anywhere without knocking. Of course, alert somebody of your presence. Okay, never arrive unannounced. That's good manners as well. Okay, if it's a woman that you're looking to engage, don't just show up unannounced, because you might end up finding something that you don't want to quite find out. No person should ever look over the shoulder of another who is reading or writing. You must not question a servant or child upon family affairs. Never betray an implied confidence, even if you have not been bound to secrecy. Nope, it just shows good moral character. That's right there. Keeping up engagements. Yes, if you're a man of your word, you act on your word. Value of politeness. Of course, yes. You don't, okay, that's a lot of nonsense that's going around in society right now. Oh, I deserve to be respected whenever I show up into a room. You are owed my civility. And that's the way that I comport myself to society. Okay, I show everybody a base level of civility. Now, if we start to engage in a conversation, you also meet my level of civility. I'll start to raise it a little bit, and we'll see how far we can get in that said conversation. If I leave feeling with a good impression of the person that I was engaging with, then we might continue that engagement going forward. And if not, if the person comes up with a certain level of disdain for whatever it is, you get kept in the acquaintance category. You never move up above that, okay? Because I know the type of person you are intrinsically. Adapting yourself to others, conform your conduct as far as possible to the company you chance be with. Only do not throw yourself into improper company. Exactly. Don't hang around with losers, okay? If you party with losers, if you find yourself in constant friend circles of losers, guys, well, I'll just keep it a stack on this one. Guys who are lacking women and money will sell you out for either at a moment's notice. You might be lifelong friends. You guys might be bros. But when times get tough and things get bad, guess what? They will sell you out in an instant. They might not mean it, okay? They might have the best of intentions in mind. But if they aren't in abundance of women and money, they end up getting a little bit of one or the other, okay? The influence of that woman will take them away and undermine the friendship that is there, or they might end up doing something underhanded in order to get some money. Don't hang out with lames. A lot of guys run with lames. A woman's good name. Let no man speak a word against a woman at any time. This is where, the anachronisms start to come out. Mention a woman's name in the company where it should not be spoken, okay? But again, if you guys are telling tales out of class, okay, you guys are engaging in some, heaven forbid, some locker room talk that boys like to engage in, okay? And a guy brings up, hey, I find Corinne pretty hot. Anybody got any sort of, history with her? And if, she's spoken with by one of the boys, then guess what? What's the situation there? Okay, are you engaged with that one? They'll be a little bit more, flamboyant. Those are the type of people I run with. But if there is something there, you defer to your boy. He was the one who got it first. Okay, nobody takes seconds. Okay, but if he's just DMing her back and forth and there's nothing really established there, and then he wants to defer to you on that one, that is totally within your bounds. You should be discussing the women that are in your circles, because chances are, if you're a high quality man and you're hanging out with another high quality man, chances are there's going to be some comparable characteristics between the two. Civility, says Lord Chesterfield, is particularly due to all women. Yes, of course. All people also deserve civility as well. And remember that no provocation whatsoever can justify a man to not be civil to every woman. You can be standoffish. I don't necessarily know if I agree with this, okay? Don't be giving off simp energy, okay? Maintain your frame. And the greatest man would justifiably be reckoned a brute if he were not civil to the meanest woman. Yeah, that word spreads quite a bit, okay? You should always be polite. I understand. But again, don't be doing a curtsy, don't be tipping no hat at some drunken hoe who stumbles into your place. Just saying. It is due to their sex, and the only protection they have against the superior strength of ours. Oh my lord, based. Do not contradict. Never directly contradict anyone. Say, I beg your pardon. But do you think you are mistaken or misinformed? I think society would be a whole hell of a lot better if they would go ahead and ask for clarification on anything that they think that they might be mistaken about. Because a ton of disagreements and a lot of bad faith arguments end up being treaded on the fact that somebody misheard a statement. Expressing unfavorable opinions, you should be exceedingly cautious about expressing an unfavorable opinion relative to a young lady or a young man who appears to be attracted by and attentive to her. If they should marry, the remembrance of your observations will not be pleasurable to yourself nor the married parties. Well, again, if those are fundamental values and opinions to yourself, you should be forthright with them. And if the woman, I'm speaking from the male perspective on this one, because we're supposed to be discussing what gentlemanly qualities are from 2022 all the way back in 1880. Okay, seeing what we can learn here. Your frame, if it's strong enough, if you're a high enough value of a man, if you're expressing something that is relatively unsavory, okay, she will either comply or you can say goodbye. The sooner you figure that out, the sooner the better, because we ain't got time to waste out here. A conversation checked. If a person checks himself in a conversation, you should not insist on hearing what he intends to say. Oh, okay, there are some good reasons for checking himself, and might cause him unpleasant feelings to urge him to carry out his first intentions. Yeah, no, exactly. That's a good way to go. You might feel a certain way about a certain conversation, but then once you let that rationality filter through things, you might think that, nah, things are better left unsaid. I might be thinking about that, but if you go ahead and you try to press those buttons once again, that checked conversation is going to come back out tenfold, so just watch where you tread. Vulgarities. I think you should just, if it calls for the situation, especially if you're sitting around with your boys telling some jokes, nothing should be off limits. That's my opinion. Some of the acts that can be classified as vulgarities when committed in the presence of others. Sit with your back to a person without asking to be excused. Yeah, that's just bad juju. Even, back in the day, as it is today. Stand or sit with the feet wide apart. that could mean totally different things nowadays, especially if you're, talking in a relatively uncomfortable situation for a long period of time, and you just start to adjust your stance, you start to move around a little bit, but you're still engaged in the conversation. I could understand, okay, that could be perceived as being aggressive or unengaged in the conversation. You just have to kind of understand the individual that you're talking to. Okay. Hum, whistle, or sing in suppressed tones. Yeah, that's annoying. Don't do that. Stand with the arms akimbo, to lounge or yawn, to do anything which shows disrespect, selfishness, or indifference. Of course, no, that makes good sense. To correct inaccuracies in a statement of others or their modes of speech. No, unless they're asking for a correction, more often than not, unless it's something that's just patently false, don't even worry about it. Or with your follow-up statement, just correct it in the manner in which you address the situation. You don't have to go, well, actually, nobody likes those guys. To use profane language or stronger expressions than the occasion justifies. And again, if you just want to go ahead and slide in a couple of dirty words every once in a while, that's fine. Miscellaneous rules. A gentleman precedes a lady passing through a crowd. Ladies precede gentlemen under ordinary circumstances. Okay, no. A man should be forging the way, and then again, even a lady should be either slightly behind or at the side, okay? Don't ever let her lead the way, okay? That's bad form. You don't know what's up ahead, okay? And again, you also don't want to set the frame that she's going to be leading in any form of transportation. What the heck is wrong with you? Give your children, unless married, their Christian names only, or say my daughter, my son, and speaking to them in anyone except servants. Oh, okay, well, I don't have any slaves on my property, so, hey, whatever. Ladies in escorting each other never offer to take the arm. No, and again, if things end up going sideways and a situation breaks out on the street, the worst thing that a woman can do, well, besides try to engage the target as well, because you're not going to do anything, you're a woman, you're weak, is to grab onto the man who is theoretically charged with the responsibility of diffusing the situation. That is dumb. Never boast of birth, money, friends, any superior advantages you may possess. Acknowledge invitation to stop a friend or an unusual attention without delay. Never ridicule others. No, exactly. And that's one of the dumbest things that you see with some of your friends that are out there, your low-quality boys from back in the day. If they degrade you, okay, it's not cute, it's not funny, okay, if they degrade you in front of your woman or your potential girl that you bring around that group of friends, they aren't doing you any favors by making you more endearing to a woman. It cuts you down, okay, that's just going to place, even if it's a funny joke or something like that, that's going to place doubt in her head, and you don't need to be doing that. Exactly the inverse is what should be happening. You should be gassing up your boys, okay? If you guys are all going out on a date and you got a girl with you as well, you should be gassing up each other, okay? The way that you comport yourself around your friends, exclusively your friends, the male-only spaces, you can go ahead and be ruthless. It can be roast session after roast session. That's fine. That's reserved for that situation, okay? You should be running totally different game whenever there are women involved. Don't accept that from your friends that are out there. That's a low quality behavior. That is beta male tactics right there. They're just trying to undermine your authority in that relationship. Never slam a door or stamp noisily or entering a room. Yeah, that also just shows that you can't control your emotions. I understand. Always hand a chair for a lady, pick up her glove. Exactly. That's just good gentlemanly habits. That just shows that you have the frame of being a strong individual. Keep yourself quiet and composed under all circumstances. Again, see emotion previously. Refrain from absent-mindedness in the presence of others. Be engaged in the conversation. And if you find your mind wandering, either try to change the course of the conversation or just call it quits for the evening, for the day, whatever happens. Never refuse to accept an apology for an offense. No, exactly. That tries to show some sort of weird snake tactics, weird superiority that's out there. It's not helpful for anybody. Never answer another rudely or impatiently. No, again, this is all just, to be in control of your emotions. It's not like men lack emotions or anything like that. They just have them under control. Because you're always going to hear a girl who's out there, especially modern women, we want men who are in touch with their emotions. Yeah, but the way that men express being in touch with their emotions is having them under control. Unlike women who are in touch with their emotions and cry on command, who freak out in public, that's just a poorly trained woman. That's a woman who never had a strong masculine influence in their life, especially if they're flying off the handle at a moment's notice. Ain't gonna fly. Do not seem to notice a word or a glance the deformity of others. No, you should just address it head on, Patrice O'Neill style. One of his funniest stories, and this is probably where we're going to end because this is a whole heck of a lot longer and it's just a whole bunch of different goofy things. Anyways, mostly agree with some of this stuff. But when it comes to pointing out somebody's deficiency, okay, especially if it's just the boys, this is where it is very important. So unless the guy brings it up in casual conversation in a group date situation, then it's fine. That's on him. That's on her to bring up, okay? But Patrice O'Neill, funniest story that's out there, and a guy who also introduced me to this line of ideology. Anyways, there was a comedian, I do believe it was in Boston. The dude was missing a hand, okay? He had a hook for a hand. It was on his left hand, so if you were meeting him, okay, you know, normally shaking his hand, okay, it would be the right hand. But Patrice, being a very observant individual, noticed that he had the hook on his left hand, went to go put out his right hand, but then put out his left hand. And then the comedian, you know what, hey, just noticing that, oh, left hand went to go put out his hook hand. And Patrice, being a 6'4", 350-pound black guy, grabbed with his index and his thumb, just grabbed the hook and gave it a little dainty shake. Funniest thing that the people relaying the story had ever seen in their entire life, because Patrice would address the situation head on, because everybody was going to be uncomfortable. It's like, that dude's got a hook. Is anybody going to say anything about it? No. He held the frame in every single situation. I want you guys to find yourself in that as well. Be the masculine presence, okay? Surround yourself with masculine men as well. Stop rolling with lames. Stop rolling with low-quality women, low-quality individuals in general. Be a gentleman for 2022 and beyond. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.